Alright. That site is still not acting up for me. This site can't be reached, so I manually changed over Twitch and Mixer, but I still haven't done. Oop. Alright. Apparently I can scroll through windows. So, if you guys could help me out with sorting out the titles and all that. Or we'll just sort it out later. Anyway, back to Phoenix Wright. And still talking about German and such. I think we left off. Where did we leave off? It's been a bit too long. That's right, this lady, it was her. Day 2. And we found out that the samurai, the dude in the samurai costume, was actually Jack Hammer. Jack Hammer. Puns. This series has a lot of puns. They don't even explain it. They're just there. He was the guy in the samurai suit, and the victim was actually going to kill somebody or something and managed to die. For some bizarre reason, he was hiding, set up our guy, Will Powers, put sleeping pills on him, took his suit, crossed the thing, and then died. At Studio 2, because we found out that from the kid. And now we're talking to this lady about something. I can't actually remember what. Mr. Hammer, Will Powers, Dr. Manila. I think, there was something she was going to say. Alright. Alright, well, let's get back into it. Excuse me. Mr. Hammer came here on the day of the murder, and... Shh. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I'm watching the clouds. I'm not interested in talking to you. Do something, Nick. She's really taking me off. Yeah, dear. Alright, let's see. Do I have anything to show? Just sleeping pills on a large bone. This one? He's not even looking. Okay, hey, you, look. Why are you showing that to me, Nick? Alright, so. You got nothing. Nothing here. Let's see, where the hell we go from here? Outside Studio 1. I can't remember. Can't go into Studio 1. That's the main gate. You got nothing, huh? Alright, let's, employee area. Nah. There you are. Nope. It's looking like Will Powers was drugged. I'm going back to the precinct to do some more detailed tests. You're being very free with your information today, Detective. Well, don't go telling anyone this, pal. But I was kind of impressed at today's trial, too. Most lawyers would have given up after that director's testimony. I think it'd have been anyone but you up there. Powers would be done for by now. Yeah, right then. Detective, about that bottle. Oh, that? Talk about embarrassing, pal. I can't believe I missed that on my first sweep for evidence. Don't know how I can apologize to Mr. Edgeworth. It must be tough being a detective with all that responsibility. No. Alright. I'm guessing I know as much about that as you do, pal. I.e., nothing. Yay. Guide map, or weapon. Alright, give me one sec. I do have a guide up. I've already beat this, but it's been some time. And oftentimes it's just some odd little thing that you don't remember. Obscure something or other. Let's go talk to Willpowers. Detention Center. Mr. Wright, you did very well again today. Thank you. Oh, thanks. Could you not look like you're about to burst into tears? Wow, Nick. You must have really wowed him in there. And could you wipe that grin off your face? Hey, WP, only one day left. Let's make it count. Yes. Though there's not really anything I can do to help. I'm not really sure what I can do either. Please, this is no laughing matter. Like the smoking witch, huh? Of course you would. Producer Vasquez. Day 2. Could you tell me more about Miss Vasquez? Oh, the producer? She's well respected in the industry. They say she's a genius. Genius? She's been at Global Studios for 5 years now. Right or wrong, nobody dares tell her different these days. Why is that? Ever since she came on board, we've had nothing but hits. Global Studios wanted it on its knees, but she picked it up and made it shine. Oh, and what? Nothing. Forget it. I've only heard rumors, anyhow. Those could help. Can you tell me anything about Mr. Manella? Oh, he used to be a minor straight-to-video director. But something in his work caught Vasquez's eye. She brought the Steel Samurai idea to him. Now everyone knows the name Sal Manella. I hear he's pretty much at her beck and call, though. Whenever she says jump, he asks how high and all that. I can imagine him being at her beck and call, though I can't imagine him jumping. That's the late Haxer Roxers dude. But yeah. I was wondering about Mr. Hammer. He was a big star back in the day, right? But then he just dropped off the face of the earth. Oh. Yes, you're right. In fact, he was my role model when I started in this business. But he just stopped taking on big roles. That's when he began appearing in little productions at Global. How could he do that? I was really looking forward to a sequel to Samurai Summer. He just gave up being a star 5 years ago. Actually, now that I think about it, that was right when Miss Vasquez came to Global. 5 years ago? Excuse me. Thank you for showing me that, whatever it is. Wish you could think of some way for me to help you. Sorry. Yeah, I guess I'm not gonna show you much. Try the law offices. Do. Alright. Give me a sec. I think this might actually be day 3. Alright, give me a sec. I gotta sort through this first. Alright. Alright, it's been a while. Any ideas? Well, have you noticed anything that might help us? I can't see what's going on when Mia is here, so no, I haven't noticed anything. Right. Maybe we should go talk to WP? WP, Willpowers, right. I just did that, man. I just did that. I think it's... Oop, wrong one. I know there's something with that witch lady. There we are. Video 2. Alright, give me 1 sec. Alright, let's try there. Bear with me. This, again, you guys were talking about, this being a low point. Yeah, it's agreed upon throughout the, fan base that this is kind of one of the less impressive. It's a bit of a grind sometimes, and I don't know why, but the Phoenix Wright series, the third chapter in the game, each game has 4 arcs. Generally, one of them has 5, I think, but they have 4 arcs, and the third one is always a bit lackluster, or always the weak point in the game. The first one is short, simple, and the tutorial one. Everyone goes about that. The second one's pretty interesting. Then the third one just falls flat in its face, and the fourth one is really off the charts impressive. It is like always like that. And this happens to be the third one. So yeah. Anyway, here we go. Oh, hello. What are you doing here? Oh, I was just cleaning up the dressing room. I guess WP won't be using it anymore, so... What? Why? But WP's innocent. Yes, and I'm really grateful for all you've done. But this week is the last episode of the Steel Samurai. What? No! Mr. Hammer. I was wondering if I could ask you about Mr. Hammer. Yes? On the day of the murder, he went to Studio 2. Huh? I thought he went to Studio 1. He stole the Steel Samurai costume too. What? Why would Mr. Hammer do something like that? Oh. I guess the rumor must be true then. The rumor? Rumors are really impressive. Yeah, Miss Vasquez, that producer, had some kind of hold on Hammer. She had some dirt on him. He'd do anything she said, apparently. Some dirt? What dirt? Dirt, you know. Bad stuff. I know what dirt means. About 5 years ago, they were filming a movie starring Mr. Hammer. They were using the new studio, Studio 2. Some sort of accident happened during filming. After that, they never used Studio 2 again. They left the film set the way it was, too. The film set? Was that trailer part of the film set, then? The last episode. What do you mean, the last Steel Samurai? I know it's a shock, but nothing can be done to save it now. Whoever really did kill Mr. Hammer also signed the Steel Samurai's death warrant. No. No! Also, I hear that Global Studios is going to change its programming. They're not going to make kids shows anymore. What? Why? I don't know. It's sad, but that's what Global Studios decided. Yes. Why aren't they going to make kids shows anymore? The studio bigwigs don't want the Steel Samurai around anymore. They want to forget all this ever happened. They want it quiet, you understand? How can they just do that? What about all the kids who love the Steel Samurai? It's okay. I'm sure the kids will be fine. They'll find a new hero to follow. No, that can't be true. If the program just ends, they'll be heartbroken for sure. Nick, say something. Yeah. I think evidence rather than words is called for here. Here, take a look at this. Probably this one. Path to Glory. And this is... A fan collected all of these photographs. The kids love the Steel Samurai. The show shouldn't be cancelled just so some adults can save face. I would think you would understand that better than anyone. You're right. Okay. But what can I do? Well, for starters, you can tell me something. Tell me what it is that Global Studios is so intent on hiding. Tell me about this accident 5 years ago. Okay. Alrighty then. Could you tell us what happened 5 years ago? Well, I can tell you what I've heard. Apparently, 5 years ago, someone died, and it was Hammer's fault. Someone died? It was an accident, of course. Anyway, the producer, Miss Vasquez, managed to hush it up. And that's the dirt she had on Mr. Hammer? And that's why Mr. Hammer would do anything Miss Vasquez asked him to do? But it was an accident, right? Why didn't they just make it public? Well, you know Mr. Hammer was a big star back then. They were afraid about what would happen to his career if word got out. I see. You know who knows more about this? Miss Oldbag. She was here at the studios back then, you know. Thanks. We'll try asking her. If she'll talk. Alright, time for the old bag. You know something. What? You're still slinking around? If you like the place so much, why didn't you take over for me? The old windbag doesn't look so good. Everybody's doing their darnest to forget Hammer. Who do they think made Global Studios what it is today? Hammer. It's all due to Hammer. She's starting to froth at the mouth, Nick. Maybe we should keep a safe distance? 5 years ago. I wanted to ask you about 5 years ago. Who told? Who did you hear that from? Huh? Nichols. Nichols? Nichols, Nick. Penny Nichols. Penny Nichols, another pun. That assistant we talked to. Oh, right. Well, maybe not a pun, but... Anyway, we heard about the accident. It was during filming with Jack Hammer. He killed a man, didn't he? Whippersnappers. Dredging up dirt on someone's past like that, and the recently departed, no less. I suppose you think this is fun? No, I'm just doing my job to protect Mr. Powers. When you claim that Hammer stole Powers' costume, you expect me to believe that rubbish? Or do you have some kind of proof? Proof that Hammer stole Powers' costume? I have proof. I'm sorry, Miss Oldbag, but I do have proof. I can prove that Mr. Hammer stole Mr. Powers' costume. Here's my proof. What? What's a little empty bottle supposed to prove? It's a bottle of sleeping pills, with Mr. Hammer's fingerprints on it. What does that prove? I'm sure old Hammer had some sleepless nights. Where's your proof that he used those pills on Powers? Mr. Powers ate a T-bone steak for lunch, correct? Well, yes. So? This is the plate that he used to eat that steak. There are traces of sleeping pill powder on the plate. I see. Poor, poor Hammer. You did wrong, Hammer. Rest your soul. Miss Oldbag? Okay. You win. I'll talk. I'm tired, see? Tired of holding it all in. Miss Oldbag? You're right. 5 years ago, there was an accident. A fatal accident. What's worse, a paparazzi took a photo of it. That photo, well, it caused quite a stir. And guess who made it all better? Vasquez. She has ties to the Mafia. She silenced that paparazzi. That was the beginning. After that, she became a force to be reckoned with here at the studio. I see. But you have to understand. Poor old Hammer never meant any harm to anyone. Miss Oldbag. Hold on a minute. Poor Miss Oldbag. Here, take this. A photograph? Wait a second. This is the picture. Is this the trailer in Studio 2? Hammer was supposed to fight with a bad guy on the top of those stairs there. He pushed the other actor, and the man fell onto the flower box fence. But how did you get this? It was a long time ago. I don't feel much like talking about it. I understand. 5-year-old photo added to the court record. Alright then. We got some questions for Little Miss Witch Lady. Let's get to it. I present to you evidence of your crime. She's not even looking. Where? What? Where did you get that? Well, old bag. Old? She means the security lady. Miss Oldbag, Nick. Right. Anyway, Miss Vasquez, you hid this incident from the press, didn't you? And you used it to control Mr. Hammer. The wind. Huh? It's gotten stronger, don't you think? The wind. Your conversation interests me. Let's talk about it more, inside the trailer. Nick, she went inside the trailer. Alrighty then. You came. Well then, what was that you were talking about? Why is she so eager to talk all of a sudden? Miss Vasquez, you were using that accident. You were blackmailing Mr. Hammer so you could control him, weren't you? That's why he was doing kids shows for petty change. So I'm a blackmailer now? Well, that's what it was, wasn't it? I mean, sure, it was an accident, but you used it to drag Mr. Hammer down from his rightful place as a star. Oh? I haven't pulled anyone down from anywhere. Mr. Hammer's career went sour of its own accord. But you were the cause. You pressured him. And to think it was just an accident. Excuse me. What is this all about? You keep saying accident, accident. How are you so sure? What do you mean? Must I spell everything out for you? Think. What would it be if it wasn't an accident? No. No way. You mean Mr. Hammer did it on purpose? That is what I mean. Where's your proof? Can you prove it? Just think. Would he have let me run his life for 5 years over a mere accident? And I ran him hard, believe you me. But the security lady said it was an accident. Oh. Well, she was a big fan of Hammer's, you see. She jumped on the reporter who brought that photo into the studio. She wrenched it out of his hand, she did. And gave him a few bruises, too. So that's why she had the photo. She's an old fool. Of course, all the reporter would need is the negatives. He could have made a copy. But he didn't. The only copy of that photo is the one you hold. Give it to me. Now. What? This is valuable evidence. Boys. Who are they? Professionals. They're good at erasing various things. What do you think? Would you like to be erased? What? The trial ends tomorrow? How unfortunate. It's a shame you'll have to miss it. Tell me why. Why do you want this photograph so badly? This is Mr. Hammer's dirt, no? Why should D. Vasquez care about it at all? I'm sure you'll have plenty of time to think about that where you're going. So long, friends. Boys, erase away. No! Hold it right there. I heard everything, pal. D. Vasquez, you're coming down to the precinct with me, now. Not bad. Very well. It appears this contest will be decided tomorrow then, in court. I'll be looking forward to it. Hey, you okay, pal? Sorry, I was a little late with my entrance. I don't get many chances to practice that sort of thing. Gumshoe. Detective Gumshoe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I was really scared. Huh? Don't mention it, pal. Just doing my job. Detective Gumshoe? Sorry, it's just... I've wanted to say that line ever since I became a detective. Okay, I've got one more job to do today. I'm sure we'll run into each other again soon. Well, Nick, looks like we're getting close to the bottom of this. And who's at the bottom? Lee Vasquez. Well, that's Gumshoe, everybody. He's just... Gumshoe is awesome. Yeah, Gumshoe is just... He's just awesome. Saves your hide, comes in, defends you from the mafia. Absolute idiot, but his heart is fully into it all the way. October 20th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 4. Yeah, blame it all on the witch. Well, that's what you wanted, isn't it? The witch did it. That's what your entire point was, wasn't it? Or is there something else that I don't remember? Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Today will be the final day of this trial. I hope both the prosecution and the defense will be able to present decisive evidence. Very well. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement. In yesterday's session, the defense presented us with a new theory for this case. He claims that the scene of the crime was, in fact, Studio 2. Today, I will call on people present in the Studio 2 trailer that day. From their testimonies, the truth will become clear. Very well. Edgeworth seems a bit on edge today. You may call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls Miss Steve Vasquez to the stand. Miss Steve Vasquez is a producer who was present in the Studio 2 trailer that day. Will the witness state her name and occupation? Dee Vasquez. I'm a producer for Global Studios. On the day of the murder, you were in the trailer in Studio 2. As everyone here knows, yes? I dislike needless banter. If you must pontificate, do it when I'm not here. Very well, Miss Vasquez. Please give the court your testimony concerning the day of the murder. Nick, I know she did it. Make her pay. Right. If she's guilty, I'll catch her with her pants down, so to speak. Witness testimony, the day of the murder. I entered the trailer, a little before noon. The meeting began at 12 sharp. It ended at 4. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. At 2:30, we took a 15-minute break in the meeting. Sal and I ate T-bone steaks on the table in front of the trailer. We found Hammer's body later when we all went to Studio 1. That's all. I have a question about one part of your testimony. You were fatigued, so you had Sal take you? The van. There's a van at Studio 2. I had him take me in that. I thought it might be risky to walk, what with that monkey head toppling over. Van added to the court record. Manella used this van to drive Vasquez to Studio 1 after the meeting in the trailer. I see. Very well. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. This is the final battle, Nick. Let's do it. Cross-examination. The day of the murder. I entered the trailer, a little before noon. Oh, that reminds me. Just a sec. I can't do it here. Never mind. Maybe I'll do it for tomorrow. By yourself? Yes. And you didn't stop in at the employee area? No. Are you always this terse? Yes. Oh dear. The meeting began at noon sharp. It ended at 4. Hold it. Did no one leave during the meeting? No one. Come on, let's talk a bit more about that. Objection. The witness did not come here to engage in idle conversation. Stop interrupting the testimony. The same could be said to you, Mr. Edgeworth. And please stop banging on your little desk. It hurts my ears. There's to be a rehearsal afterwards, so he went to Studio 1. And when exactly was that? I've forgotten. Maybe you could try remembering? No. The meeting ended at 4, and the rehearsal was scheduled for 5. I would think it was between those times. You would think? Come on, all you did was state the obvious, Edgeworth. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. Hold on. You had Sal take you? What does that mean? It means what I just said. I had Sal take me in the Studio 2 van. Oh, right. At 2:30, we took a 15-minute break in the meeting. And what were you doing during that time? Don't hit your desk. It irritates me. Yeah, Mr. Wright. Oops. It was a 15-minute break. Sal and I ate T-bone steaks on the table in front of the trailer. Do you have someone who can verify this? Sal? No, I mean someone else? One person is enough. If she committed murder during that break, she wouldn't have had time to eat a T-bone steak. I had some evidence that proved she didn't eat that steak. Well, Nick, find anything? I kinda wish she'd said a little more. It's hard. I think she's pretty used to being the boss. But I'm sure you'll find some kind of contradiction in what she said, somewhere. Let's see what we got. Steak plate. The van to drive us to Studio 1, meeting in the trailer. What leg? October 15th, 2 p.m. Guide map to Global Studios. Block the path. Enter the trailer a little before noon. Meeting began at 12 sharp. It ended at 4. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so he went to Studio 1. You couldn't have gone there, right? Yep. What exactly was that? I've forgotten. Maybe you could try remembering? No. Meeting ended at 4, and the rehearsal was scheduled for 5. I would think it was between those times. You would think? Come on, all you did was state the obvious, Edgeworth. 2:15 p.m. and 4. No, let's start with. Nope, not it. Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence. It does? I don't see anything contradictory. Huh? Really? Objection overruled. Try to think before you make accusations, Mr. Wright. Shit. You guys got any idea? There's to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. At 2:30, we took a 15-minute break in the meeting. Sal and I ate T-bone steaks on the table in front of the trailer. And what were you doing during that time? Don't hit your desk. It irritates me. Yeah, Mr. Wright. Oops. It was a 15-minute break. Sal and I ate T-bone steaks on the table in front of the trailer. It's fair enough. It's what happens when you don't do things every day. Do you have someone who can verify this? Sal. No, I mean someone else. One person is enough. If she committed murder during that break, she wouldn't have had time to eat a T-bone steak. If I had some evidence that proved she didn't eat that steak... Well, Nick, find anything? I wish she said a little bit more. Sarge, she's pretty used to being the boss, blah 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 blah. Maybe that'll work? Give me a sec. Meeting at noon, sharpen it at 4. Okay, give me a sec. Enter the trailer for noon. Meeting started at noon, ended at 4. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. At 2:30, we took a 15-minute break in the meeting. Sal and I ate T-bone steaks on the table in front of the trailer. Studio 1? Give me a sec. Then to drive Vasquez to Studio 1 after the meeting in the trailer. So I had Sal take me. Hold on, you had Sal take you? What does that mean? It means what I just said. I had Sal take me in the Studio 2 van. Oh, alright. So we went to Studio 1. You couldn't have gone there. Well, no, Studio 2. And when exactly was that? I've forgotten. 2:30 and 4. Well, let's try this one. It's a stupid idea. Let's give it a shot. There it is. Yep. Huh. As I thought. You claim you ate a T-bone steak. But I say you did not. What's this now, Mr. Wright? Look at this. It's a plate. This plate was on the table in the employee area. As you can see, a large bone has been left behind. Mr. Wright, need I remind you that it was a T-bone steak? Exactly my point. Remember, if you will, Miss Vasquez and Mr. Manella ate at a table outside the trailer. Yet there were no bones left on the plates. The plates were bare. Miss Vasquez, tell me, how can a person eat a T-bone steak and not leave the bone? I think I know how. You ate the bone too. You ate a boneless steak. You didn't eat the steak. You didn't eat any steak during that break. You took your steak and threw it somewhere, like the incinerator. I see. But what was Miss Vasquez doing during her break? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? Meeting the Steel Samurai. She was meeting with the Steel Samurai. Order. Are you saying? Yes, Your Honor. You're super hungry. Just that bad. You can't actually choose that as an answer. As Miss Vasquez left the trailer to eat her steak, she ran into the Steel Samurai. And then you did it. You killed him with your own hands. Mr. Wright, isn't that a little presumptuous? Objection! What kind of stunt are you trying to pull, Mr. Wright? Let him claim what he wants. You say I did it? Yes. Fascinating. And here I was worrying that today would be as boring as all the rest. Very well. Let us have a battle of wits, you and I. Any day, Vasquez. Good luck, Nick. Let's see. What was that murder weapon again? Oh yes, the samurai spear. Yes. I am, as you can see, a woman of petite stature. How could I possibly use that heavy spear as a weapon? I think you could. You couldn't, could you? I don't know. You couldn't, could you? I think you would have a great deal of difficulty using that as a weapon. Pretty much anyone would. Huh. You see? Yes. However, that has no bearing on this case. Meaning, the samurai spear was not the murder weapon. What? What is the meaning of this? The spear was found lying next to the victim's body. I have proof, Your Honor. I can prove that the samurai spear was not used as the murder weapon. A break in the shaft has been mended with duct tape. I present my proof, the so-called murder weapon. But that is the murder weapon. Not so fast. Remember that the spear broke during the morning action scene run-through? But someone fixed the spear. It was the security lady. She fixed it with duct tape. Now tell me, how is it possible for someone to stab a man who is wearing a thick costume with this through the chest? Order, order. Mr. Wright, what are you driving at? Think about what you're... Silence. I'm the one testifying here, and I will be heard. Are you quite sane? Are you even aware of what you're saying? If the samurai spear was not the murder weapon, then pray tell what was. How was Hammer killed? Well, Mr. Wright? Can you tell us what weapon was used to kill Mr. Hammer? I can tell you. Would I make a claim like that if I couldn't tell you what the weapon was? I'm afraid your confidence can sometimes be unfounded, Mr. Wright. Very well. Let's see this murder weapon, then. Any of you know what it is? Look at this photo. What is this? Why, that's Jack Hammer standing at the top of the stairs. Order, order. If I cannot have order, this trial will be suspended. Mr. Wright, what is all this about? This photograph is from 5 years ago. There was an unfortunate accident at Global Studios. This is a photo of that very accident. Not a word of this was leaked to the outside. It was a close-kept secret at the studios. What does this have to do with the current case? Mr. Edgeworth, you still can't see it? See the fallen man in this photo? See how the fence post pierced him through the chest? But what? Are you saying? Yes. What happened 5 years ago? Has happened again. Mr. Wright, continue. It's 2:30 p.m. on the day of the murder. Misty Vasquez meets Jack Hammer outside the Studio 2 trailer. Then she did it. She pushed Mr. Hammer off the stairs onto the fence. Just like Mr. Hammer had himself done 5 years ago. Though whether she did it on purpose or by accident, I cannot say. In other words, the victim, Mr. Hammer, he died in the same way that he caused another man to die. 5 years ago. Precisely. Ironic, isn't it? Oh, very creative, Mr. Wright. I could use a man like you on my script writing staff. You deny that what I say is true? Mr. Wright, let's say for the sake of argument that Hammer died at the trailer, as you say. Yet the body was found at Studio 1, was it not? And the evil magistrate's costume, no less. Are you then claiming that I carried the body to Studio 1 and returned to the trailer, all in the space of a 15-minute break? How could I have disposed of the body? The break in the meeting at the trailer lasted 15 minutes, from 2:30 to 2:45. Could Jack Hammer have been pushed off the stairs to his death, then carried to Studio 1 and placed inside his costume? There wasn't enough time. Indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, how could she have dealt with the body? She couldn't deal with it. I bet she could move it. She had another way. What if she had another way to carry the body, other than with her own hands? For instance... Actually, for that matter, there was no need for her to do the deed in 15 minutes. And there is a way for you to carry that body. Interesting. Let's hear it then. Mr. Wright, please show us how she carried the body. In a car. Duh. Miss Vasquez, you carried the body to Studio 1, and you used the studio van to do it. Recall your testimony. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so I went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. There was a van there, right? I had Sal drive me. You used the van to carry the body to Studio 1. Then, before everyone else got there, you put the body into the magistrate costume. Hold on, Wright. Don't forget, it was Sal Manella that drove the van. Are you suggesting that Mr. Manella was a conspirator? Of course he was. Of course Sal Manella has to be a conspirator. The body had to be placed in the van and put into the costume. There's no way Miss Vasquez could have done that alone. Also, don't forget that they had to dispose of the Steel Samurai costume. They had to, because it was covered in Mr. Hammer's blood. They probably burned it in that small incinerator. Well, Miss Vasquez, shall I continue? Maybe? No need. You're smarter than you look, Mr. Wright. I lose. You win. It was fun. I win? So, what happens next? No, me? Don't you have anything to say? What would you like me to say? Huh? I lost? Something like that? I just said that. Wait, so you mean... D. Vasquez, so it was you? You killed Jack Hammer? Who could say? Huh? Are you sure I did? Mr. Wright, we just engaged in a battle of wits. And the result of that battle? You proved the possibility that I murdered Hammer. Right. But that is only a possibility. Proof is another thing altogether. You lack decisive proof, Mr. Wright. But... What? Order. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Of course, it's as the witness says. Certainly. It does seem very likely she did it, but, there's no proof. Edgeworth isn't sure. Well, I came here as a witness today. If you've no more questions, I'll be leaving. What do I do now? You did it, Vasquez. Testify again. We'll do it that way. I'd like you to testify again. Testify again? No one to give up, Mr. Wright. Think about it. Even if I were to testify again, What's the point? I can only say what I said before. The truth, Mr. Wright. I've already said all there is to say. What would happen if I said it again? You'd ask the same questions, get the same answers. A waste of time. Damn. To come so far only to fail. As it seems there are no further questions, I would like to end the cross-examination of the witness, Miss Vasquez. Objection! Yes, Mr. Edgeworth? I was trying to come up with a question while I was objecting, Your Honor. I didn't. I see. Very well. Objection! Your Honor, I request that the witness testify again. You are the prosecutor, are you not? Why are you badgering me? I'm your witness. I just want to hear your testimony again. Does this make any sense to you, Your Honor? I don't see that we have anything to gain by repeating the last several minutes. Mr. Edgeworth, I too see little point in making Miss Vasquez repeat herself. What exactly did you want her to testify about? Well, yes. Indeed. Verily, I say, ergo. I want to hear about what happened after they found the body. After they found the body? Very well. The witness will testify to the court concerning this matter. Nick, why did Edgeworth... Who knows? He probably realized she did it too. But, wasn't he the one that said he always gets a guilty verdict? After all that. Edgeworth. Help. I can't help you. I can't even read that. Ayuka. Would the word dork work? Edgeworth is such a dork. Yes, verily. Ergo, I say. Testify again. After finding the body. I was with Sal and Oldbag, the security lady, when we found the body. The assistant was there too. Only Powers was absent. I immediately called the police, and Powers showed up. The security lady, Oldbag, was quite agitated, pointing at Powers saying, "He did it!" I asked to be left out of the proceedings. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. Then I went home. I see no issues raised by this testimony. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Okay, Nick. We're close. Real close. She may be acting tough now, but if you put her on the spot, she's sure to falter. Find the key you need and twist the truth out of her, Nick. Right. Cross-examination. After finding the body. I was with Sal and Oldbag, the security lady, when he found the body. Vaguely like grandfather? What time was that? We were to meet at 5 for the rehearsal, so I'd say it was then. When exactly did you and Mr. Manella arrive at the studio? About 10 minutes before. I wasn't stuffing any bodies into costumes, mind you. Press harder? Where were the other employees when you got to the studio? They weren't there yet. Well, then you could have put Hammer in that costume with Salmonella's help. Oh? What did I just say? Did I not just say I wasn't stuffing any bodies into any costumes? You should try to listen to what people are saying, boy. Boy? The witness will continue her testimony. The assistant was there too, only Powers was absent. Mr. Powers was taking a nap, correct? So he says. Did no one go to call him? Remember. Remember what? There was a dead body lying in front of us, yet you expect me to be calm? You certainly seemed calm enough when I accused you of murder. Press harder. Wait a sec. Wouldn't that be the other way around? The other way around? You discovered a murdered body, and one person was missing, right? Wouldn't you normally go looking for the missing person? I have to agree with the defense on this one. Well, Miss Vasquez? Logically speaking, perhaps. But no one there was thinking very logically, I assure you. Also, without his Steel Samurai costume, Powers doesn't really stand out. We often let him on the bus when shooting on location. No one noticed he was missing. Poor Powers. Well, I suppose that explains that. Very well, Miss Vasquez. You may continue. I immediately called the police. Then Powers showed up. What was everyone else doing at that time? No one said a thing. It was silent. Completely silent. So he stood there until Powers finally arrived on the scene. Sorry I'm late. Then, silence. Dead silence. Silence. Hey Nick. Why is everyone so quiet? I thought we should do something to lighten things up. Working on it. Precious. He is, indeed. I like the character arcs in this game. The security lady, Old Bag, was quite agitated, pointing at Powers, saying, "He did it." Old Bag, the security lady. Why did the security lady think Powers had done it? She said because she saw him going towards the studio. Right, the Steel Samurai. Did the detective arrest Mr. Powers based solely on the security lady's word? Perhaps not. She seems to have also given the detectives that photograph. Of course, I heard all this after the fact. That photograph, being the one taken by the security camera. She's not known for exhibiting the best sense of judgment when it comes to Hammer. I don't think there's anything in there I can use. I asked to be left out of the proceedings. You asked to be left out? Yes. It seems that everyone else was questioned, and I'm really not fond of that sort of thing. But you can't just decide who the police will and won't question. Thankfully, the studio thinks otherwise. They were nice enough to understand that, since we were in a meeting. There's no way we could have been involved. Thus, they covered for us. Covered for you. Or covered it up for you. There must have been a lot riding on it, with all those bigwigs at the meeting. I'm sure her professionals helped convince everyone they didn't require questioning. Yeah, the professionals, huh? I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. The script and your direction notes? Yes, they're quite valuable. It wouldn't do to have them stolen. No, I guess not. Wait a second. I thought you came to Studio 1 for a rehearsal. Why didn't you bring your script and notes? Well, I was under the impression that we wouldn't be able to rehearse anything. Why? There was a murder, after all. Who could think of rehearsing after that? Oh yeah, I guess... Very well. Miss Vasquez, please continue. Objection. Your Honor, I have an objection to the witness's last statement. Huh? Think. Miss Vasquez said she didn't bring the script because there wouldn't be a rehearsal. Don't you see what that means? She would have had to know about the murder before going to Studio 1. Order, order. Mr. Edgeworth. What you have just said is a reasonable observation. However, I find it hard to understand why the prosecution would make such a move. Or are you thinking of a career change to defense? I appreciate the concern, Your Honor. I will stand by my statement, however, regardless of how the court sees my role here. Now, Miss Vasquez, do you have an explanation? I can't believe Edgeworth is helping me. So the prosecution is in cahoots with the defense. What kind of court is this? Your guess is as good as anybody's. No matter. I think you misunderstood me. I had a perfectly good reason to believe there would be no rehearsal. Very well. The witness will change her testimony to reflect this reason. I knew that Hammer was injured and couldn't do any action scenes, so I left them behind. How did you know about the injury? How did I know? Sal. He told me. Sal, the director. You have to find something to peg this on her here, or everything we've done till now will have been wasted. I believe in you, Nick. Go get him. When we found the body. Sal and Olbeck when we found the body. Assistant was there too, only Powers was absent. Immediately called the police. Powers showed up. I asked to be left out of the proceedings. Back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. What do we got here? Appears by spear, photo, guide map, spear. That's the only thing I can think of. What time was that? We were to meet at 5 for the rehearsal, so I'd say it was then. When exactly did you and Mr. Mandela arrive at the studio? About 10 minutes before. I wasn't stuffing any bodies in the costumes, mind you. Press harder. Where were the other employees when you got to the studio? They weren't there yet. Well, then you could have put Hammer in that costume with Sal Mandela's help. Oh? What did I just say? Not just say I wasn't stuffing any bodies in any costumes. You should try to listen to what people are saying, boy. Boy? Liz will continue with her testimony. Alright. This is Studio 1 after the meeting in the trailer. Chase the bone, sleeping pills, acting holding Jack Hammer, the kid, block the path. I don't know. Yeah. Powers is missing. Mr. Powers was taking a nap, correct? So he says. Did no one go to call him? Remember. Remember what? There was a dead body lying in front of us. Did you expect me to be calm? Certainly seemed calm enough when I accused you of murder. Back off for now. That's not what I'll hold off. Should just blow off anything I had to say anyway. Police and Powers showed up. The security lady old bag was quite agitated, pointing at Powers, saying he did it. Old bag, the security lady. Why did the security lady think Powers had done it? Oh! I think I might have. She said because she saw him going towards the studio. Right. The Steel Samurai. Did the detective arrest Mr. Powers based solely on the security lady's word? Perhaps not. She seems to have also given the detective that photograph. Of course, I heard all this after the fact. That photograph being the one taken by the security camera. She's not known for exhibiting the best sense of judgment when it comes to Hammer. Don't think there's anything there I can use. That isn't... Yes, you left out of the proceedings. Back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. The script and your direction notes? Yes, they're quite valuable. I wouldn't do it to have them stolen. No, I guess not. Wait a sec. I thought you came to Studio 1 for a rehearsal. Why didn't you bring your script and notes? Well, I was under the impression that we wouldn't be able to rehearse anything. Why? There was a murder, after all. Who could think of rehearsing after that? Yeah, I guess. Very well, Miss Vasquez, please continue. Your Honor, I have an objection. Miss Vasquez said she didn't bring the script because there wouldn't be a rehearsal. Don't you see what that means? She wouldn't have known about the murder before going to Studio 1. Order, order. Mr. Edgeworth, what you just said is reasonable. prosecution make a move. Do you have an explanation? I knew that Howard was injured and couldn't do any action scene, so I left him behind. There we are. You knew that Hammer was injured? Don't you think that's a little funny? There it is. I mean, it was the Steel Samurai who was injured. It was Will Powers. But, what? Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Yes, Mr. Hammer is dragging his leg in this photo. But that's because he was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Pretending? One person was injured in the run-through that morning. That person was Mr. Powers, not Mr. Hammer. Now, why did you think it was Mr. Hammer who was injured? I already said it was Sal who told me. That's right. You must have gotten it wrong. I think not. Mr. Manella was at the run-through that morning. He would have known it was Mr. Powers who was injured. He saw it happen. Why would he tell you the wrong person? Miss Vasquez. You saw Hammer limping. You heard Mr. Manella wrong. Actually, you didn't hear anything from Mr. Manella. You saw Mr. Hammer limping with your own eyes. Yes, but wasn't Mr. Powers who was injured? Yes, but remember, Mr. Hammer was dragging his leg too. He was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Ah. And when was he doing this? Well, it would have been after he put on the Steel Samurai costume and went to Studio 2, where he was murdered. Exactly. Miss Vasquez, you met him, didn't you? You saw the Steel Samurai limping. And Mr. Hammer was in that Steel Samurai suit. That's why you were so confused. That's why you thought it was Mr. Hammer who had been injured that morning. There we go. Order, order. I will have order. Witness. Can you refute this claim? Yeah, let's see you sneak out of this one, Vasquez. Very well. I have a question for you. Why are the real killers always so persistent? Why in the world would I want Mr. Hammer dead? Yes, he'd fallen on hard times, but he was a star. I had nothing to gain from his death. Nothing. Yes, you would need a motive. Why would you have killed the victim? If there is a reason, it is unclear to this court. Does the defense have anything to say on the matter? In other words, can you prove she had a motive? Of course I can prove it. Okay. I have proof, and I'll show it to you. I present to the court evidence as to Miss Vasquez's motive in this murder. This is my proof. This is the photo from before. This photo reveals the motive in this murder. I'm right, aren't I, Miss Vasquez? 5 years ago, Mr. Hammer was at the height of his fame. With D. Vasquez's help, a terrible accident was swept under the carpet. Ladies and gentlemen, the case currently up for trial. It began on that day, 5 years ago. Ironically enough, that accident precipitated Mr. Hammer's fall. His fall from stardom. His guilt weighed him down, no doubt. However, you, D. Vasquez, used Mr. Hammer. You made him work for you, for petty change. Bringing us to the present day, and Mr. Hammer's last role as the evil magistrate. Yes, undoubtedly it was a constant source of shame for the ex-star. One moment, Mr. Wright. We are talking about motives here, yet you have only talked about Mr. Hammer. It almost seems as if it was Mr. Hammer who had killed D. Vasquez, not the other way around. What motive would Miss Vasquez have? Yes, that's right. According to what you say, I would have had no reason to kill Hammer. He was a good source of income for me. And I never get rid of useful men. It's a policy of mine. Mr. Wright? Please explain Miss Vasquez's motive for murder. It's the same thing. Real evidence? Okay. Allow me to present to the court evidence proving Miss Vasquez's motive. Same picture. This is my proof. And? This tells us why Miss Vasquez wanted to kill Mr. Hammer? I'd say all it proves is that the defense attorney has completely lost his marbles. Mr. Wright, the court requests that you find the marbles immediately. And I'm afraid I have to penalize you for this waste of the court's time. Nick, we're so close. Take this one through, please. Mr. Wright, I ask you again. Please explain Miss Vasquez's motive for murder. She had no motive? She had no motive, Your Honor. But what's that now? It was Mr. Hammer who was out for blood. All Miss Vasquez did was push him off the stairs, in self-defense. What's that now? It's simple. Mr. Hammer was intending to kill Miss Vasquez. What? What? Your Honor. Jack Hammer drugged Mr. Powers with sleeping pills. Jack Hammer snuck into the dressing room and stole the Steel Samurai costume. Jack Hammer wore the costume to fool the security lady into thinking he was Powers. Then Jack Hammer made his way to the trailer. And for what purpose, you ask? To kill Dee Vasquez, who had so cruelly taken advantage of him all those years. That's not good. So, you did do it, didn't you? Yes. I am guilty. It was me. Someone call an ambulance! There's blood everywhere. We're too late. Miss Vasquez! What happened here? Manuel fell from the trailer stairs. Manuel! Manuel! Miss Vasquez, please try to remain calm. No. How could this... It was an accident. Mr. Hammer was doing an action scene and... No. Manuel! Don't touch him. Miss Vasquez! No! Please don't die. Please. That would be a reason to hate somebody. Congratulations, Mr. Wright. I lose. Again. Mr. Edgeworth, where's Dee Vasquez? In the waiting lobby, Your Honor, as calm and collected as ever. I see. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? It appears you have brought about yet another miracle. Thank you, Your Honor. I think not, Your Honor. Will Powers was innocent. That he should be found so is only natural, not a miracle. Yes, you're right. Very well. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, not guilty. Yay! Who has confetti in a courtroom? Honestly. That is all. This court is adjourned. This court makes no sense, like, at all. And we're not even into the really wacky stuff yet. Trust me. October 20th, 1:12 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. I don't know what to say. Thank you so much. I'm just glad you're okay. Yes, but it's sad. I know now that Mr. Hammer stole my costume. It's bad enough that he wanted to kill Miss Vasquez. To think that he tried to frame me for the murder. It makes me sad. Tell me why, Mr. Wright. Huh? Tell me. Why did Mr. Hammer want to blame me? Yeah, well, this is what I think. I think I got it. Mr. Hammer wanted to put the blame on you because... It's because you were the Steel Samurai. Because I was a Steel Samurai? Mr. Hammer was a big star once, but he was reduced to acting in a kids' show, and as a villain to boot. The kids loved the Steel Samurai, and so, he hated you. I think I understand. He could have just told me. I would have changed places with him any time. I think you're missing the point. Thank you. I'm just glad it's all over. So am I. So am I. Congratulations, WP. Oh? Oh! Thanks to you, I'll be able to don the Steel Samurai outfit once more. I can't wait to get back into that sweaty costume and... Is something wrong? No, of course not. Nick! Edgeworth! Hi. Say something, right? I'm not good at small talk. What? That was too bad, Edgeworth. You don't waste any time gloating, do you? No. I really want to thank you. Vasquez would have gone away if you hadn't stepped in. And, pleased to meet you. I'm Powers. Edgeworth. I'm a big fan of your work, Mr. Powers. Liar. Right. I must say, I hadn't expected to meet you again after all these years. Meet again? However, in retrospect, it would have been better had we not met. Thanks to you, I am saddled with unnecessary feelings. Unnecessary feelings? Yes, unease and uncertainty. Aren't those kind of necessary? They only serve to get in my way. You listen to me, Phoenix Wright. Don't ever show your face in front of me again. That's what I came here to tell you. Mr. Wright? Was that guy your friend? What? Friends? As if. They're rivals. Rivals. Right, Nick? For now we are, I guess. Huh? Why do I get the feeling I'm missing something? Come on, Nick. Tell me. What's the deal with you and Edgeworth? And so the curtain closed on another trial. I caused quite a stir by revealing the accident from 5 years ago. It was the talk of the town. Thankfully, Global Studios rethought its programming change. They went back to making kids' shows again. Nick! This is it! The new show starts today! You're gonna watch it with me, right? I'll admit, I was kind of surprised. I didn't think they'd seriously go through with it. You have to buy trading cards too, okay? We have to trade with Cody and that assistant. Fine, fine, I'll do it. Isn't it great that WP gets to play the lead again? I wonder if they'll show his real face this time. I don't know. I don't think the world is ready for the real Will Powers. The end. So edgy. Our little edgy poo. And here it is. Here, this is brand new episode has been added. Turnabout goodbyes. And you get to see one of the more notable characters in the show. In the game or so. But that'll be it for today. Save progress up to this point. Yes, indeed. Nope. Keyboard. But yeah, goodbyes? Goodbye. Actually, turnabout goodbye. A good spot to end it. So let me switch on over to here. Anyway, hope you guys had some fun. This one is going to be an interesting one. Trust me, it's a well-liked one. I think this should have another one after that, the 5th episode for the first game. Anywho, we'll get into it tomorrow. And I can't remember the exact order, but it's a cool one. See you later. Have a good one, everybody.